With first of all, we're gonna recognize who's here. And so I'm looking over, I'm gonna open up the agenda, so I'm reading it correctly off that. Here we are. And so, I'm gonna do a screen share. Well, I don't have to do that yet. I'm just gonna read off here. So first of all, I need to, the first item 1 is call to order, actually, before we do a roll call. And, oh, there is one other thing I need to do, and I'm really sorry for their delay. It's out of your consideration for you as community members. I need to make sure I don't have any phone numbers showing. And let me just look. Okay, it looks like everyone here is here by name. I don't see anyone here by phone number. I just don't want anyone to have to deal with a whole bunch of phone calls because their phone number was recorded on there. And again, now it looks like I'm headless. I'm going to give up on my appearance. I might just like have to blank my face out or something. Okay, so moving forward, sorry, I got to stop looking at my own picture. All right, I'm going to go ahead and we're going to do an introduction. I'm going to do, first of all, an introduction of any members and newly appointed. Now, and there is a issue, but I'm not going to bring it up right now. I'll address it later. But it looks like we have, I understand Jocelyn Harris was appointed. Is that correct?
Are you?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know if you can hear me.
Okay. And interesting, Jocelyn, didn't see Jocelyn speaking. It looked like I saw Bradleigh Merrill speaking. I'm a little confused. But
I began to speak, but then Jocelyn spoke up, so I stopped. Was what happened.
Oh, okay. Okay. So there is an issue which I will be addressing later regarding appointments, but for right now, we'll just welcome Jocelyn here, and she is a wonderful member of the community, and I appreciate a lot of the good work she does. And thank you for stepping up. But there are some other issues regarding the legalities of appointments. But again, I'm going to save that to a different part of the agenda. And there is a part of the agenda where we're dealing with that. Okay. And then furthermore, we have then the next thing is there's myself as a community advisory council member. And I'm looking for other members of our community council, advisory council in attendance. And I'm not seeing others. The only notice I got from, I got actually 2 notices of possible absence. And that first one is from Gregory Creswell, who said, again, and it's a family member, is very ill and is in need of his attention. And we keep him in our thoughts and prayers. And his family, but he is not able to make it, but he did properly notify me ahead of time. The other person, Karen Knox, said she would make an effort to attend, but she did indicate that she could have communication problems where she was that would prevent her from properly getting online. And I did bring up the telephone option, and she said she would try that, but obviously I don't see her here in attendance. And then finally, I don't know why Washington Houston isn't here. And I have not heard a reasoning from him. So that all being said, we do not have a quorum. And so effectively, that would be counting 2 people, Jocelyn Harris and myself, as the only attending members. And that's okay, though, because we're going to, it would be better if everyone was here. It would be better to have a quorum. So when I say it's okay, what I mean by that is we're still going to meet, but we're going to be meeting as community members the way we normally would, But in this case, there simply won't be any binding votes on anything. There'll be no official action taken. Now, Jocelyn, would you be willing to, would you like to take a few minutes to talk to the other people in attendance about yourself?
Well, let's see. Am I unmuted? I'm trying. Let's
Yes,
see.
you are.
Okay. Well, I'm Jocelyn Harris, and I'm a longtime resident in Jefferson Chalmers, a retiree from State of Michigan Department of Corrections, and also Detroit Public Schools and Michigan State Extension Program. I've been retired since 2002. So since that time, I've had a couple other jobs working with the city of Detroit, very much concerned about our returning citizens, and was engaged with the city with a project called Corrections to Work, which I helped to coordinate. But now here I am in my beautiful Jefferson Chalmers, been serving on this Jefferson Chalmers Citizen District Council for at least 10 years. So most everybody knows that as a result of the last emergency manager, the Citizen District Councils were officially taken out of their duties, but the reality is that our Citizen District Council still continues to meet because we're totally committed to serving the residents. So my concern is really for the whole district, being that I've been a resident over 40 some odd years, and all of my family live here. I'm a wife, mother, and grandmother. And a lot of the things that are happening in our city are going to have long lasting impact on the generations to come. And as a senior, I feel a responsibility to be engaged. So I welcome the opportunity to help with the Citizen Advisory Council, to serve with the other members at the pleasure of the residents. The residents absolutely need a voice in city government. And I understand that's one of the main missions of the C.A.C.
Okay, well, thank you. Now I'm going to share the agenda screen just for a moment because I feel like it is appropriate to do that. And I'm going to switch over to screen sharing mode here. And let me just do that real quick. And it's right here, share screen. And see if I can find it on here. There it is. So this is what I'm sharing. And okay, so we got this document here, and try to get some of this other stuff out of our way. There we go. It is the agenda, and obviously this Collins stuff we can skip past. So we got introduction of youth or senior issues representative. We did the introduction of city council representative, Spivey, and Bradleigh Merrill. Welcome to the meeting. She is the council representative present. And introduction of elected officials. Are there, I know there are, but I'm going to let people speak for themselves. Would each elected official present introduce themselves?
Yeah. No particular order, Scotty. You just kind of want us to jump in?
Yeah, jump in.
All right, sure. My name is Nicole Small, and I am the vice chair of the Detroit Charter Revision Commission. Thank you so much for inviting me here today.
Okay, thank you very much. And she is on the agenda because the charter is definitely a topic that we need to learn a little bit more about here. Also, we have the okay, and then we're going to have the adoption of agenda. Normally, this would be a matter of discussion between the C.A.C. members on possible changes, and there'd be a vote on it. A vote in this manner would be superfluous, but what I will do is I will ask, and I'm trying to see, I'm having viewing issues with this way of seeing the Okay, I see. I have to click through to see the different members. I'm trying to see everybody, and my viewing is a bit off. Well, I don't see Jocelyn Harris here on the thing, but I assume she's still in. With Jocelyn Harris, do you have any additions or anything that you want, or adjustments you think you'd want to see on the agenda? Okay.
Nope, I'm sorry, I was muted.
Oh,
Okay,
okay.
I'm saying, no, I don't see any adjustments needed to the agenda as presented.
Okay, thank you. So that covers that part. And I remind people, and it says it right here, that the agenda is part of is something that's right in the municipal code. So that's why it's important that we follow all the rules. Okay, and even though technically it isn't a formal meeting, approval of prior minutes, and the secretary is absent. And also there's no vote on those minutes. What I will do though is I will quickly breeze through what we have from, oh, and I have someone trying to get it. Oh, Sandra Turner Handy. Well, that brings us up to 3. I will bring this, welcome Ms. Handy. We now have an additional member present. What I will do though is I'm gonna read off the minutes, so it's not gonna be a voting item. And so I'm gonna stop the share, and I gotta go into, I'm gonna now share that item instead. So let me find it quickly, and I know I have it here. Minutes. That's not the minutes I'm looking for. Those are the minutes I'm looking for. Okay, so now I'm sharing another screen. And so I'm going to breeze through these minutes. And if someone thinks there's something I really should have put in here that isn't here. Now, of course, this is not a complete transcript of a meeting. It's just minutes. So I'm just mentioning the discussions we had, not the full content of the discussions. We have here, all right, we started late and I had all kinds of horrible technical problems connecting. But the meeting went well after that when I realized all I had to do was talk through the phone. We have, it started then at 7:39, and amazingly, we had a good number of people hanging in there for that. We had Gregory Creswell was had called in again over a different unfortunate incident or problem in the family with health. Washington Houston was absent without notice. I don't think he notified. Same with Karen Knox. Um, and Senator Turner Handy, you weren't at the last meeting, were you?
No, I was not.
Okay, so that is accurate.
Yeah,
Okay.
because I was trying to get the correct date and I was unable to get it until after the fact. So,
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, well, that's understandable if you didn't have the fact that what we do is we meet unless it's stated otherwise at 7 p.m. on the second Monday of each month.
yeah.
And that the place to look, by the way, C.A.C. I mean, no, sorry, D4CAC.org. D4CAC.org will take you right there. It's all up there. So that's where I put things. But we're gonna but thank you. I'm glad you're here now.
Yes.
Okay, and I see we have, oh, by the way, Zelda Anderson, I introduced as the bylaws chair before. I believe she's here also right now. And we have myself, and at the point I had declared that we did not have a quorum at that meeting. And so we continue as a community discussion without any formal motions. We had some officials present on the agenda. That was Dennis Perkins and Rodney Liggins, which were district manager from, I should put Department of Neighborhoods. Put that in there. Uh-oh. Got to undo that. It messed something up here. Unfortunately, this is not going the way I want. Okay. Okay, I'm just gonna put Department of Neighborhoods here, representing the 4th district. There. And we had Keisha McKinney from Councilman Spivey's office and Bradleigh Merrill from Council member Spivey's office, who's also present. Community members attending in addition were Tucson Knight, Brenda Butler, Danny, Loretta Yancey, and Letitia Johnson. We had a discussion about the Motor City makeover with some information presented by Rodney Liggins on how to get your community group involved. And we were informed that District 4's day for action was on May 22nd. I know in my neighborhood, we had a lot of people very active and had a number of sites where people are working. And I'm assuming there are many other neighborhoods around the district where that was happening. I'm sorry, it was my additional commentary. Okay, then Bradleigh Merrill mentioned walking down Bedford from East Warren to Mac involving, and I don't remember the full context, but that was something she was sharing with us at the meeting. And then I had to go back to the agenda because I realized I kind of meandered away from it. I did a reading of the April minutes. I did and then opened to presentations and discussions, which of course we already had the Department of Neighborhoods presentation from Mr. Liggins. But then we also have some, we already just, a floor was open to other items of discussion. One big issue, I guess, that came up here was there was a fence down at Connor between East Warren and Chandler Park. And there's a discussion of whether or not there was road work or not. And there's a little bit of interplay, I remember, in that discussion. Loretta Yancey brought up a blight problem in the lot that is behind, not including, I believe, behind 5250 Drexel. Letitia Johnson brought up a request for listing of houses to be demolished as a result of Proposal N. And then under unfinished business, we had speed humps. We had speeders and reckless drivers, and requesting them, it turns out, will be something that you should probably do now with the expectation that you won't see any until 2022. Because that's apparently where things are, that the current orders for work on those is already in progress or completed. And so there is no new speed humps for this year or no new requests being granted, but you want to get in line for next year. June meetings scheduled for June 14th. We did that, and here we are. Later meetings will be at physical locations. We'll get to that when we get to that. But this is our last all Zoom meeting. Whether or not we also have a Zoom option, I'm not sure yet how that's going to work. So we had public comments. Letitia Johnson brought up some meeting reminders. Loretta Yancey brought up that she didn't get the reminder message. Brenda Butler was asking about issues accessing the city website. I'd be happy to comment on that later. Bradleigh Merrill brought up the fact that it was the chair's responsibility to post information. And I think City Code 12-2-29 brings it up. And I would love to fulfill that responsibility if I was given the way. Catherine Douglas, Eastside Community Network information, she spoke. And Bradleigh Butler spoke about the Department of Neighborhoods, COVID-19, cleanliness and lack thereof of ice cream trucks. So it's that sound about right? If not, I can take a little bit of input here.
From what I remember, that does sound right. But Scotty, I do, and not to change the subject, I do apologize. But as we spoke earlier, I do have to leave the meeting earlier today. I mean, early today, and it's letting right up on 7:30. I did put and for those who don't know me or my voice, my name is Bradleigh Merrill. I work for Councilman Andre Spivey. I did leave my contact information, cell and email in the chat. So you can call, text, or email me anything that comes up for our office in this meeting. And in addition to that, I sent a link to the city's page about the American Rescue Plan Act. They have a survey. The mayor's office has a survey right now where you can call and put your input into what you think those funds should be used for. There's also a link to the mayor, a presentation, a virtual presentation about the proposed thoughts from the mayor's office. And there will be a virtual meeting June 22nd for districts 3 and 4 in regards to the American Rescue Plan Act. And in the link that I put in the chat, there's the Zoom information for that June 22nd meeting that is from 5 to 6 p.m. is there. So that is my update for today.
Okay, that all sounds very important. Thank you for telling us.
Yeah, and I do have to leave, but please
Anything else you
call.
want to add?
That's my update, but please call, text,
Yeah.
email, anything that you all need my assistance with in the meeting today.
Thank you very much.
No problem at all. Have a good night, everyone.
Okay, you too. Take care. Okay, yeah. So, and she did tell me ahead of time that she'd be leaving, so that was expected. Okay, so that was the minutes, and let me get back on to now. I'll stop that sharing, and going back to our agenda. So one screen share after another here. Let's see, I'm gonna go back right on to that agenda, d4cac.org, and we're on. Okay, all right. So moving right along, we have next up. And did I place this because I'm looking here and I thought okay, no, it's good. It's set up correctly. Presentations, hearings, and discussions. And this is in this part we have first on here Charter Commission Vice President Nicole Small. And I just put abbreviated here because obviously the charter is a large document. I'm talking about the revisions to the charter. They're both large documents. And one having a full in-depth knowledge of it would not be possible to convey in the course of this meeting, which being much more. That's why I have abbreviated factual analysis of charter revisions. But if there is an expert on it, it's definitely Nicole Smith here. I'm sorry, that's Nicole Small, Council Charter Commissioner Nicole Small, who is Vice Chairperson of the Charter Commission, and is and so what we're going to do, we have, because there's been a lot of talk about the charter, a lot of misinformation out there, and a lot of like baseless claims, and I really want to make sure that we all are getting the truth and not just depending on what we read in the papers. And so with no further ado, I'm going to open the floor to Nicole Small.
Thank you, Scotty. I appreciate it. So I'm going to try to summarize this to the best of my ability. Most of you know there have been a lot of ongoing changes, especially within the court system, with the status of the charter as far as Detroiters voting on it. So March the 5th, we submitted the revisions to the governor. April the 30th, the governor responded and objected to the charter. There were claims of many legal deficiencies. And so the charter decided to take a look, and we went through all of the objections. We only found, I think, 2 legal issues, and it was a matter of changing a few words, not actually removing or eliminating any of the revisions, which is good because the proposed revisions have been written by you, the people. So it was very important for us, while we needed to take a look at the revisions to ensure the objections, to ensure that we don't put anything that's illegal on the ballot for you to vote for, because what would happen, just to let you know, the charter still can pass. It just would mean that those particular revisions, anything that was illegal or that was a liability, simply would be taken to court and wouldn't be implemented. So that was April the 30th. Then May the 7th, I believe it was, we gave, we had a meeting, and that's when we went through all of the revisions and the objections, and we made the amendments that were necessary. And then that Friday, sent them to the governor. May the 13th, the election commission responded during their meeting, and 2-1, they voted to actually put the charter on the ballot. keep in mind, the governor's April 30th meeting clearly stated that we do not need the governor's approval in order to submit the charter on the ballot. So that was that. Then May 24th, we received a letter from the governor stating that she will not be reviewing our revisions, and it's due to media reports that she witnessed, not due to her cabinet doing their due diligence. To make sure that she actually recognized not only the work of the commission, but the work of the people of Detroit, and actually review the amendments that we made, so she can then make another decision to approve or object. And so she refused to do that with claims of media reports, which we didn't understand that. And then somewhere around then, after May 13th, maybe the following week, and this date I don't remember, there was a lawsuit filed by Reverend Horace Sheffield along with Roderick Harbman, and they were two plaintiffs on one lawsuit, telling Judge Kinney in Third Circuit Court to remove Proposal P off the ballot because the governor did not approve. Again, the governor and the attorney general had already stated in order for the charter to be voted on does not require any approval from the governor. Then two more plaintiffs joined in, Ingrid White and I think his name is Anthony Lewis. They had a lawsuit for the same thing. Judge Kinney ruled in favor of the plaintiffs to remove Proposal P from the ballot. Then we appealed to the Court of Appeals. The Court of Appeals, we asked for them to give us a stay, which would have allowed for Proposal P to stay on the ballot. They refused to do it. It was 2-1. Only Judge Karen Ford Hood supported that. And so then we had to file for an appeal to the Court of Appeals, who gave us a stay, which means that Proposal P is on the ballot, and the Supreme Court pushed the decision back to the Court of Appeals and made them actually rule based on both arguments. Well, then they did rule, and the ruling was, again, 2-1 to remove the charter from the ballot. So we appealed again to the Supreme Court. They gave us another stay. So this is where we are. Proposal P is on the ballot, number one. The ballots have been printed as of last week. So it's a done deal. The ballot that you receive, you will see Proposal P. What we are waiting on is a decision from the Supreme Court to actually hear both arguments, right? In addition to that, they have agreed to accept an amicus brief. One is from an Arab American attorney who's stating that this is voter suppression for their community of people in Detroiters who vote. And then we have another one from a community organization, the 7 Mile Van Dyke Association, a community group. And it's my understanding that there will be a group of residents from the Latino community who will now be joining in, submitting another amicus brief. All of these things just strongly support what we want to see, which is an opportunity for Detroiters to decide. Also, some great news is both times that the Supreme Court granted us a stay, all of the justices supported it except for one, which was Judge Viviano. So, you know, there seems to be a much better understanding with the Supreme Court that Detroiters have a right to vote on the charter. Now, listen to this part clearly. While we are on the ballot, the reason why we're waiting on a decision from the Supreme Court is because, let's just say everyone vote, we get the majority of votes and the charter passes. If the Supreme Court comes back and renders a decision that the Proposal P never should have been on the ballot because we weren't compliant, then that vote will be in vain. So you will have an opportunity to vote on it. We want to make sure that your vote stands, especially if it ends up passing. So right now, we're in good standing. The Supreme Court is reviewing both the argument from the Charter Commission and from the plaintiffs. The Election Commission and the clerk decided not to join in on the appeal. They just accepted the first judge's ruling. So we're actually appealing independently, but along with our community allies who have filed an amicus brief. So I think that we are moving in the right direction. I want to say thank you to all of you who have been a part of this process. More importantly, those of you who have stayed the course and now are saying, listen, we have a right to decide on our city's constitution. So thank you.
Okay, Commissioner Small, I had a couple questions, and maybe other people do as well, and maybe you could raise your hands, and I'm looking at the participant list, so I'll be looking for any raised hands. But I'll start out with one. The big objection that seems to be floated out there by opponents is and I did we did have a representative, was it Charlie Beckham? I did
Yeah.
ask him on 9:10 a.m. when he was on the show on Sunday, what, where could we go to see something supporting the claim he was making, which was that it would somehow cost the city so much to implement these changes that it would bankrupt the city. And he was unable to cite any place, but then he did proceed to use that as his premise to argue for all the other damages and why we should not vote for this thing. But it was all rooted in the premise that it would cause such great expenses that would bankrupt the city, which he said was not aware of any evidence for that, apparently. So would you be willing to address that as far as, what you know as the person, playing a central role in crafting these revisions?
Absolutely. It's as simple as this. There is no language within this charter that will cause bankruptcy to the city. The only thing that could bankrupt the city is if the charter passes, then the decisions of city council on how to implement those revisions, if they do not make decisions that are the most feasible according to the city's resources and funding, then that could bankrupt the city. But there's not one revision that has a definitive amount of money that has to be spent. There's also a false narrative around these commissions that we've created. There are only 2 commissions that will require a stipend. That's the 3 persons running on the election commission, and then the 7-member board that will be for the board of fire commissioners. The other commissions were already in existence, and actually the board of police commission will cost the city less because we have moved to go from an 11-member board to a 7-member board. So these are just all false claims, and the reason why he couldn't cite anything is because there's nothing that was revised that calls for the city mandated to spend a certain amount of money. Absolutely nothing.
Okay, thank you. I do see a hand, and that's from Sandra Turner Handy. Are you able to unmute yourself?
Yes.
You're muted.
Yeah, she's unmuted. I think she's
Now
unmuted, but she appears.
yes, she was, but now she's
to-
unmuted now. Go ahead.
We all know that the wheels of justice turn slowly.
Yeah.
Now, what is the date for, because this is going to appear on the general election ballot?
No, the primary, August 3rd.
Well, if it's going to appear on the primary, when are the ballots to be printed? And
No,
will we
that's what
get
I
a?
was, they are printed. They're printed already.
Okay, so okay.
So we're
So-
on the ballot, definitely. We are on the ballot. Proposal P is on there.
Okay. So will anything change once they come back with a ruling if it's not in the favor of the voters voting on the proposal?
Then you still will see it on your ballot regardless. It just means that the revisions won't be in effect, unfortunately.
Okay.
And if that happens, we'll make sure that we put forth efforts to let everyone know that, beforehand. We know we can't count on the city to do it, so we'll make sure we do it.
That's all right. Even if you don't, everybody gonna vote. The voters are gonna vote for it, which will let the city know that we're behind whatever in the charter.
That's right. That's right.
Because I haven't seen any numbers either. If you can't show me the numbers that are going to bankrupt the city, then I have a problem with it.
That's right. And you know what? That just shows you how they undermine our intelligence, especially those of us who are on this grassroots side. I don't know if they think that, you know, we can't walk, chew gum, and oppose this garbage at the same time, but we can, and we will. We will continue to do so. These are your constitutional rights. And you know what? No other city has had their rights compromised to vote on their city's constitution. So instead of starting with Detroit, they should just take this someplace else.
And I'm trying to get rid of that virtual background and I'm still getting some weird effects.
Oh, that's what it is. Okay, because that's why when I can see you moving, Scotty, it'll kind of go in and out. Okay.
Yeah, I know. And there were times I seem to disappear in things.
Yeah.
But
Right.
yeah, it's, oh wow, now it's all reversed. This is quite surreal. But anyway.
There you go, right there. Whatever you
hopefully
just did.
we'll see if I stay here. But okay, do we have any other question? I'm looking for some raised hands here.
Yeah, I'm looking for, trying to get my
I
hand
have-
raised. I'm
Okay.
raising my hand. Go
Okay,
back.
go for it.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Is this Jocelyn?
Okay. Yeah, this Jocelyn.
Okay.
Nicole, I have to say that all the work that our Charter Commission members put in over these last 3 years,
And the
and
people.
and the people, I was gonna go to all those focus groups where you had us as residents engaged in making recommendations, you know, for the charter to not be on the ballot because of, and I'm just gonna say, is it 2 people or 4 people at this point, led by Mr. Reverend Horace Sheffield? That would be totally ludicrous. And I just know that that's not gonna happen, but we know that our worst has happened. But I still just want to say hats off to everybody who worked so hard to get the charter in place. That was a lot of work and a lot of detail. So I'm praying that it's on the ballot, we voted up, and anybody in their right mind would know that the voters, the voice of the voters should be what is counted. So.
That's right. And let me say this, please, you know, those of you who are, you know, active in your community, you know, even as you're talking to these candidates, if any of them come to your door, you know, I know it's just a few of us who are out here. Please
Go
talk to
on.
them.
I'm sorry. Go on, Pop. I'm sorry, you all.
Oh, that's okay. Please talk to them about this charter. You know, I don't know, has anyone else besides myself seen the billboards opposing Proposal P on the freeway yet? Yeah, it says Proposal P is a problem for pensioners. And you know, we had one of the focus groups were the Detroit active retirees.
I'd say the current situation is a problem for pensioners after
Yes,
that
They already
so-called
took half of
grand
their
bargain.
They
yes,
already took their pension and used it for other things, so.
yes. So be on the.
Yeah.
That means we'll be getting there soon, I'm quite sure, because the billboards are up.
Be on the lookout. Another thing is, I just wanted to bring up, there was some issues in there about, I'm trying to remember what some of the problems they had. Yeah, I'm gonna just bring this up a little bit while we're on this discussion, because I chaired the civilian oversight or the citizen focus group regarding civilian oversight and the police department. And we made a large number of the well, I shouldn't say made, we recommended a large number of the revisions that were instituted. And what I would say about that is anything that we were doing really would save the city money, not cost the city money. And I will enumerate some examples. We have limitations on the types of technology and weapons that the police could use on the public that currently are costing a lot of money. And specifically, I'm talking about, for instance, that there are much more hurdles the city government would have to go through if they were going to spend money on expensive things, like they went ahead and just did with digital data works, where they're getting all kinds of money for the facial recognition technology and all this stuff, that it would not be quite so easy to spend all that money. There's more hoops they have to go through. It's not a complete prohibition, but it's a lot they have to go through. They're not going to be able to go using all kinds of, unless again, they have to go through a whole bunch of hoops. What, there's like these weapons they're using on protesters, like, sound cannons and heat rays and all this stuff. They won't be able to use those. And a lot of people don't even know about that, but there was a lot of bizarre things being used by the police department and members of the community.
Military style weapons.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
That stuff costs money. It isn't going to cost the city money to not have that. What does cost the city lots of money are lawsuits from people who have been victims of mishandling by the police department. This will put teeth in the Board of Police Commissioners. I don't know if anyone here knows this, but we have a case where a person was, where a police officer, a corporal, beat down an African-American woman in a hospital, a patient,
Didn't
and he
he?
got a promotion.
Yes.
The Board of Police Commissioners at the last minute did vote unanimously to deny the promotion. And there was a workaround, because in the way the legal system works is, if you have a contract that says something other, if the city has a contract with people that says something other than what their charter says, the contract takes precedence over their own charter. And we have a clause, there's a contract clause that says that they are not, that anything in the contract is not to be construed as to be able to violate the charter. So that will save the city money.
But they will never point this out. And Scotty, what I find to be the most interesting piece about this puzzle of people who are in opposition? I can't find one who literally read it, or if that any of their opposition is actually aligned with something that's an actual revision, right, in the charter. So for instance, to say, we stripped the mayor of his power around the chief of police. No, the chief of police still reports to the mayor. I heard Reverend Wendell Anthony, even though the NAACP finally wrote a letter saying that Detroiters should have the right to decide, he made claims on Mildred Gaddis that, we put residency in there, and residency is against the state law. Hello, this is how I know not only have you not engaged in the process and been to any meeting, but you have not read it. Residency is not in there. We have stated over and over again to the numerous proposals of implementing reinstating residency that we could not, for that very reason. The only piece about residency is if you apply for a job and you're a city resident, you get a certain number of points. That's already in existence.
Yes.
The only thing we do was change the sliding scale. That's it. And so, you even have people stepping up, and they know that when they say these things and to the people who they have influence over, people that they're in shock. They back down because they fear losing even more than what has already been taken away from them. And I understand that. When you start talking about, P is a problem for pensioners, not all of the pensioners know that we have pensioners, definitely involved in this process because we wanted to support them. When you hear people saying that, oh, they're violating state law, that makes us look as if we didn't do our due diligence, when actually the person who you think is so smart giving you this information didn't do their due diligence and actually read it. They took the word of someone else who is not telling the truth. And that's the part that bothers me, not as a commissioner, but as somebody who sat there meeting after meeting, watching so many Detroiters participate in this. And the only thing that you were saying as Detroiters is that we want to change how government operates because it's not working best for us. And you have every right to say that.
And,
Nicole, that's a two-edged sword, because I'm going out and I'm talking to people about, you know, we have to pass this charter, you know,
Mhm.
and I'm telling them why, you know, 90% of them are not going to read it. They're going to take my word for what I say.
That's
So
okay.
look on the other side of it. Those people are doing the same thing. In the hopes that people don't read the charter. They don't want them to read it. I'm going to encourage people to read it, you know, but we know that a lot of people are not going to read it and will go on probably what I say to them, you know, so.
But I
And I know,
agree with you. All that I'm saying is, why would you intentionally go out and provide your community with a false narrative? See, that's my problem.
because they have an agenda.
An agenda, you're right.
Absolutely.
Okay, they have
Absolutely.
an agenda and they have
You're right.
people that will follow that agenda.
And
Whereas
that's very clear.
I'm on the ground with the people and they're going to listen to me because my reputation says that I'm not going to steer you wrong.
Right.
And that's the reason why, you know, the counteract to that too, I understand you to say that there's going to be big billboards that go up saying, don't support the charter.
Mm-hmm.
And who's funding that, just to know?
I don't
probably
know.
gonna
I've already seen 2 of them. So you figure, I mean, I'm quite sure Duggan in his pack, because you've had Charlie Beckham to join on. You have Sheila Cockrell who's joined in. The president of the Lieutenant Sergeants Association, he's joined in. And you know, and here's my thing. Me personally, you know, while I definitely support police reform, I'm not diametrically opposed to all police officers. I'm not, you know, I've never said that. And I think that they need to understand that having a board of police commission is simply civilian oversight. It doesn't mean anti-police, but let me tell you something. In any organization, you're gonna have some rotten apples in every bunch. And what we're saying is, it's extremely life-threatening to have rotten apples in the bunch of police officers with no accountability, right? Because what you receive is the results of an officer beating a woman has mental illness, you know, beating her down, and then he receives a promotion. So we're rewarding people for bad behavior. And that's what we want to stop within the police department. All police officers are not the same, just like all grassroots people do not all think the same and act the same. But we have a right to have some more benefits for where our tax dollars are going. Who wants to pay police officers to abuse you? No one says, no one ever.
No sense at all. But I'm glad you started listing who is not in favor of the charter, because you know what, when they put up those big billboards and send out all this glossy information, which only they could afford, that's a signal to the residents that is not in our favor. But I'm with Sandra, our voices have to be heard, and we do have some residents that have confidence in our judgment. And so I look forward to the opportunity to be able to present the facts as you've given us. You know, you gave us a lot of detail, you know, back and forth,
And I'm
but we
gonna
can
write up a
summarize it in such a way
timeline
that
so
they'll
it helps you.
understand the opposition, and really to know that the opposition is against the people.
Yes. And I'll write up a quick timeline, just starting from the day we submitted it to the governor to where we are now. And I'll make it really simple, and hopefully that'll help some people to understand where we are now as well.
Great.
In this process.
Thank you for doing that. By the way, do you have is there a commission meeting scheduled for this Wednesday? Is that correct? I see something about that.
Wait a minute, what's today? Monday? You know, I'm all over the place with this campaign. Today is Monday. There's a committee of the whole this Wednesday. Yes. And we have some type of special meetings tomorrow.
Oh.
Yeah, but there is one Wednesday at 5.
Can you send that to me and I can put it on the website? I mean, it's kind of
Sure.
last minute, but I figure I could put it out there anyway. Yeah, also, you know, there's the matter of the fact that people you know, they haven't presented their evidence for this supposed bankrupting thing. That is why I don't feel that I needed to invite anybody presenting an opinion from that side. And it's in the same vein of news reporters don't have to give equal credit to people who believe Donald Trump won the presidential election. And I'm seeing this as the same type of thing, though at a different level. It is effectively, what's the word? Because the big lie narrative. It is repeating something over and over again, having different people saying it, having people see it in different places, and that much in people's mind, hypothetically, will make it true, and people will believe this. That's what's being done, because there is not a presentation of evidence, and so therefore it's baseless without that. And so that's really where I see this, and so I think the matter is, it's just a matter of look at the facts, and if you think perhaps there is something out there that is this problem, look for it, try to find it. That's what I would say. And don't just go on what people are saying to you. And by the way, the charter, you go to DetroitCharter2018.com. You can download the revision right from there. It's not a problem, and you're willing to peruse through the document. It's not hidden. The whole process was transparent. I'll speak as having attended so many of those meetings, and I've never seen a meeting as heavily attended on a consistent basis as the Charter Commission meetings were.
Nicole, question. I
Yes.
know that the Charter Commission was looking for funding to come, as I understand, correct me if I'm wrong, from the city council to do an education campaign to
Yes.
educate the voters as to what is in the revision. Am I correct?
Yes. Yes.
Did
You are
y'all
correct.
ever get the funding to do that?
Well, no, not adequate funding. We received $30,000 for this fiscal year to educate about 400,000 Detroiters, and another 42 or 45,000 for July through August. So I don't know what we're supposed to do with that. And absentee ballots are going to be coming out within the next 2 weeks. We needed the most money for this fiscal year.
So I'm just gonna ask, because I'm not done know. Can there be a counter billboard campaign or some type of literature produced that we can help to circulate? How are you all gonna
I'm going to
use the
follow
money?
up. I'm following up with Denzel. We should have had our one pager done. So let me find out tonight where we are with that, because we need it desperately. I talk to people about the charter everywhere I go. Whether it's for city council, whatever, I'm talking to people about the charter. And so I would like to be able to also pass out some one pagers, and it'll help those of you who are educating your friends and family and neighbors. Also, if you have something in hand.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, what's the proposal for using that 30,000 and that 45?
Well, we definitely want TV and radio ads to reach some of the people. Printing of a one pager. Originally, we wanted to do a mini booklet like what they sent you for proposal in, but definitely to do a one page with large font and in color, right? And if we have some money left over for some stipends to give some people to help us deliver the literature, that would be great as well. But for right now, definitely the printing of the one pager front and back, and TV and radio.
So are you all doing an email blast? Can't you all, take that?
Oh, well, yeah, we'll do the email blast, but that won't cost that much. I was just saying, the bulk of where that 30,000 would definitely be spent.
Okay, because see, if we could get that one pager now, that would give us some ammunition,
I agree. I'll
by
get on.
email.
I will get on it. I'll start tonight.
And because we really need to get this information out before the people start sending back in their absentee ballots.
I agree. And I just put in the chat, Scotty, do you see it? The link for tomorrow's special meeting.
Yes, I do.
Okay.
So I encourage anyone who's on this in this discussion, they can go and look at that link and copy it and paste it and use it tomorrow or Wednesday. Oh, Tuesday. Oh, no, this is Tuesday. You have a special
Yeah,
meeting.
Wednesday is the regular committee of the whole. Tomorrow, that's why I was telling you it's a special meeting.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, it went by me for a minute, 5 to 7. Okay. I had another thing I wanted to bring up about this or ask you about. Now I'm trying to, oh, I know. Supposedly there was also, and this is almost like I think maybe scheduled to happen almost overlappingly or immediately after, is the League of Women Voters is having some discussion or debate about this.
Hold on, I'll tell you that date. Now, you know what? I was in the right email before you asked me to find this one, Scotty. I just had, hold on for a second. I think it's the 19th. All
Oh,
right,
so I
let
got
me
the
read
weeks
this.
mixed
Hold
up.
on. Okay, I have to turn in my stuff tomorrow, I know. So I'll be working on that tonight. I have 2 of them. Okay, hold on. They are going live. Let me find the original.
Yeah, I know
Which one?
specifically on the part that I was involved with, the police.
Oh, 411. Okay, it says, oh yeah, it's scheduled to go live on June 19th is what I see.
Oh, okay, different date. All right.
So what do you see?
Well, when I visited there, when I saw the notification before and visited the website before, it looked like it was going to be tomorrow. And also
No,
there was
tomorrow's the deadline for us to submit our questionnaires.
okay, maybe that's what I was seeing.
Yeah, and then they'll go live on the 19th.
Okay. Because the
Okay.
other part of that is they had like an Eventbrite link that made it look like it was already sold out or something, which didn't make any sense because they had just
It's
announced.
virtual, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And you know, I've seen hundreds or even several hundred people at these meetings. I don't know why that would occur.
I don't know either, but I'm a definitely, tomorrow's my deadline, so I'm gonna get that questionnaire. I got 2 other questionnaires to do, and to send those in. So that's how I knew tomorrow was definitely the deadline for that one.
Okay. Oh, you mean, are you talking about candidate questionnaires? Or I'm
Yeah,
talking about,
aren't they doing? Yeah, because everything is going live on the 19th. Want to be everything, the candidates and the proposal.
I didn't get it. I didn't get one.
Well, what are you talking about?
I was talking about, in fact, now I got to contact them to see what's up with that, why I didn't get a questionnaire. But no, what I'm talking about is they had promoted that there was going to be a debate, and Denzel was going to represent the pro charter revision side regarding specifically the revisions concerning police.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Very interesting. I'm looking at, but thank you for letting me know about those questionnaires. 'Cause I didn't get mine yet.
What are you don't have a primary?
Okay, you know what? I'm gonna have to. I just realized I'm kind of going outside of my
Yeah, okay, well, that's why
boundaries here now.
you
I'll
wouldn't,
hold off
yeah,
on
okay,
discussion.
right,
But
but you
thank you for
wouldn't,
bringing that up to me.
okay,
All
sorry.
right. Yeah, I'm not going to use up any of our meeting time talking about candidacies.
But I
Yeah,
will
but
listen if they're talking about the charter, that's important.
yeah,
hmm,
but if you don't have a primary, even the questionnaires that a lot of my groups send out, if the person doesn't have a primary, then we're not sending them to them.
Yeah, they're not gonna.
Yeah.
what does
send them
that
over.
mean? Will you have one for people that are in the general election?
Only if they have someone running against them, and most of the ones that don't have somebody running against them in the primary won't have anybody in the general.
Oh, a lot of them have two.
Yeah,
Yeah, which means you won't be there into the general, and that'll be a whole
right.
nother thing, yeah.
I see. Okay. I'm gonna move to Nicole. If you want to stick around, you can, but I think it's probably at this point in the meeting I really should move to the remainder of the agenda.
All right, thank you.
And thank you
Thank
so
you
much for
so
your testimony.
much. Yes,
And I'm
Yeah,
gonna,
good work, Nicole. Thank you.
yes, we needed that information.
so I'm gonna screen share the agenda itself again. And make sure we're going, okay, so the next thing we had here, and I didn't get any direct presentations to put on here. I don't know, Ms. Harris, did you prepared anything regarding the Citizen District Council in Jefferson Chalmers or anything like that?
No, well, I was a part of the focus group and asked to prepare a brief synopsis about the history of the Citizen District Council and, all the mission and all that. I did a brief thing, Audrey Carter and myself. But what are you asking? You asking me to talk about it now? Or,
No, only if you had something prepared. I'm not trying to put you on the spot or anything. No, I was trying, because I remember there was a conversation we had like about a week or two ago, and I thought I had heard.
well, I do, when you look at the C.A.C. and then the CDCs, they are different organizations. The common thread is that they represent the voice of the people, but the Citizen District Councils really focus on development issues within a district. And we've got a lot of development that needs to go on in the neighborhoods across the city. But the reality is that at this point, and Nicole spent a lot of time talking to the CDC, our Jeff Chalmers Citizen District Council and the Virginia Park Citizen District Council. And there's a Brush Park that's still meeting. But her explanation was that we really should talk to our state representatives about putting the Citizen District Councils back in effect, because across the state of Michigan, there are Citizen District Councils. They are legislated in from the state level. So the fact is that that's where they started. They still exist, like I said, and there's still a great need for Citizen District Councils when you really look at what they do. Basically, no development can happen in a district without the developer coming to the Citizen District Council and presenting the proposal before going to City Council. Right now, the reality is that our Citizen District Council, all those dismantled by the past emergency manager. We do realize that we're in America, so we continue to meet, and the city government, everybody still recognizes the Citizen District Council and Jeff Chalmers, because they all come to every Zoom meeting. They're always presenting. They're always asking us questions. And the last go round, JEI, Jefferson East Inc., went directly to the City Council with a proposal for a TIF district, and they were rerouted back to the Citizen District Council. So, but really it's about development more so than it seems like the C.A.C. is a voice of the people. Understand it goes across the whole district. That's the difference that we're seeing. It's a large organization, not just connected up to associations and all like that. Yeah, Sandra, what were you going to say?
What I'm going to say is that I think that this particular C.A.C., which has a lot of influential organizations within its boundaries, works. But when you come to areas like Virginia Park Association, it is not working. I'm fighting hand and tooth with the residents in that area because it's not working at all.
Okay.
Their developer over there is doing whatever he wants to do. And when they go before any governmental body with their concerns, nothing is in their favor. They're actually getting ready, trying to change their community name to
Wow.
Herman Kiefer community, and they've been the Virginia Park Association because I grew up on Pingree, a
I hear
couple of
you.
blocks over off of 12th, and that's always been their name.
Right. Right.
So
Yeah,
I'm
well, the lady,
saying,
I'm trying to remember her name. I hear you.
uh,
We,
I'm saying that it works for
Mm.
some communities,
Mhm.
but for highly vacant communities, and the
Mm.
problem is, for some reason, elected officials
Mhm.
in high city offices don't believe that it's worth it because it's not enough votes over there for them to support the residents.
Mm. And that's what the bottom line is.
That's what the bottom line is.
Yeah, and that's what it is. The voice is in the vote. And I
Yes,
know we're hearing Jeff Chalmers, I think we have one of the larger voter turnouts, but we also have been organized for a long time, you know?
yeah,
And we have other groups, and we always say we all need to work together. But believe me, we do unite on certain issues. And so that's why I think there are some lines drawn, although we know that things, you know, and we're still gonna have the neighborhood strategic plan, you know, they came to us, all of these folks from all over the world, hired by the administration as developers, came to us and supposedly listened to what we were saying. But in reality, the initial plan they came with is a plan that they recommended.
mhm,
And for us old time residents, what they were doing is developing a strategy to attract newer residents to the community, but totally leaving out the voice of the residents that have lived here and stuck it out. So I could just simply summed it up to say, well, you all gonna give us ice cream and we don't even have a cone. So
right,
they're talking about things that they're the surface issues. When we've got flooding in Jeff Chalmers, you know, they kind of hide that on the website. Some of these newer people probably don't even know they're coming into a 100-year flood plain. They
right,
just look at the fact that we're on the river, but that brings its own challenges. Okay.
yes,
Um,
yeah. Well, Scotty and Jocelyn, the rest of you all, I'm on the other side of 94. And I'm
mhm,
gonna tell you how bad it is for us.
Okay.
Out of all the people running for city council,
Mhm.
we have only had one, maybe two that even ventured into our area to campaign because they don't feel they get enough votes on this side of 94.
Wow.
And that's how it has been. We call ourselves the stepchildren of District 4. That's how bad it is. That's why it was so important to me, and I'm so glad that Scotty upheld my appointment, because we needed to have a voice in District 4 from the other side of I-94.
Wow.
So it's bad. We don't, even those that serve us as District 4 residents don't come across 94.
Wow. You know, this is ludicrous. What's going on to me is that they really are more interested in property than people. The
Yeah.
people's voice is the last thing that they want to hear. They want to silence the voices so they can hear the voice of the developers and the contractors and those that they think have money. But on your side of the track, and that's, you know, sad to say, they developed that future cities plan. And I really believe that's what they're implementing. They're pouring into those little
Nope,
areas.
nope.
What are they doing? What do you
That
see?
ain't what they implement their own plan, not the Detroit Future City recommendations.
Their
Because
own
I
plan.
worked on that. And I worked on that, and I'm a firm believer in it recommends. It's not a plan. And that's what I tell everybody. Quit looking at it like it's a plan. But let me tell you, and Scotty and Jocelyn, the rest of you all, this is going to become an issue for us on the other side of 94. We have so much vacant contiguous land
You do.
over
Okay.
here that, and you know how they came up, well, we all know about the side lot. We all know they came up with that 250, 500 feet stuff. There
Mhm.
is not any lots available for us to purchase. So
How
what
is
did I
that?
tell you?
'Cause I was sitting, no,
So that's
I've been on blocks where there's literally, and I have been heavily walking these areas. And I'll tell you that you're absolutely right. And I like, especially in the region, let's say if we go, start moving south from Maross,
Maple Ridge,
down toward Outer Drive between Gratiot
Maple
and
Ridge,
Kelly. When you're between
Maple
Gratiot
Ridge,
and Hayes specifically,
Maple Ridge. Yes. And we cannot purchase any land over here.
yeah, because I looked and there's
Can-
blocks where there's one house. Why can't that one house buy all those side lots?
But you know, look
That
at,
means that they have a plan.
well,
If
let's
that-
say this, Sandra. Let's hear this. Because all of our older CDC members, a lot of them are deceased now. But the one thing I do remember that they continue to say is that developers don't want one lot at a time. They
That's
want
right.
lots of land.
They
So
want it
now,
to be
if you're telling
contiguous.
me they're not selling those lots and there's plans for development.
That's what it means to me too.
Okay, there's plans for development. So
So what's the plan? And nobody can tell me about a plan. So
Yeah,
we are actively raising our voices because we know it's a plan. But y'all need to, and in order to keep me quiet, because I'm advocating buy lots, buy lots, buy lots. They
mhm.
told me any lots that I want, send them the addresses. But that's to keep my voice quiet.
Yeah, they always
And
want to quiet our voice.
that's not acceptable. Okay, I'm gonna stop, guys. But yeah, this is covers District 4, and I just wanted you guys to know what's going on over in our area of District 4. You know, that I'm actively fighting to get these lots online for sale to residents. Because we know it's a plan and it don't include our voices.
So Sandra, in your area, having all those lots, is the city investing in cutting out all that grass?
Payne was over here yesterday and they ran through the neighborhood and half cut a whole bunch of stuff and moved right on.
So then now here you are as residents are, because you know the mayor want to tear down everything.
And
Now
I'm the one cutting them. And me and our groups.
It's got to be dangerous. So, because we
We're
have
cutting.
problems in Jeff Chalmers with coyotes and wolves and all kind of, because we live in a deciduous forest. Are you all getting challenges too with a lot of wild animals?
We have feral cats. That's what we have, a lot of feral cats.
I heard somebody, because somebody was complaining about coyotes and on the news, they were telling people, don't put your garbage out early. That's the solution. See, anybody would know if you make all these vacant lots, you're making habitats for animals and the people
Yes.
and animals live. I mean, it's just, that goes with the territory. So, so you all, wow, it's different over here where I live and I'm going to come to visit you. I really
Yes.
do want to come
And
to visit.
I just wanted you guys to know that this is a big issue over on this side, but we're working through it. We actually are, have an upcoming meeting with the mayor coming up where this is what we're going to discuss. It should not be a reason why residents in this area cannot purchase these lots.
Absolutely. Wow.
I'm gonna have to continue now on to the next portion in the agenda. And so here I'm going to quickly do a screen share again.
Thank you, Scotty, for letting me put that out there.
Oh, that's what this is about.
Wow.
Meeting, we have here coming up next, we have unfinished business and new business. And just, I want to explain something here, and I'm not comfortable having to talk about this. And we do have current community concerns, but also let me see where the thing I was gonna, and there's internal matters. so I think we've been on current community concerns, and of course, we do have the community comments after. But there's an internal matter, and I don't believe in doing things behind anyone's back. I don't believe in breaking the rules just because it makes me feel comfortable. I've spent many years of my life, but this is the first time I've ever been elected to anything was to this. I've spent years of my life, campaigning against or speaking out against politicians who feel that somehow the rules don't apply to them.
Mhm.
And so that's where I'm going to be coming from here, and I need to bring this up. And I'm definitely, I don't want it to sound like this is personal or that I have any ill will or thoughts toward anybody. But it's just a matter of what is proper, and I don't feel that I want to do anything that's going to be improper. So here we have this posted here, and because of a lack of a quorum, there isn't going to be any action, but I feel like I need to be transparent and say why this is on the agenda, and also why I was making some murmurings about legal issues regarding Ms. Harris's appointment. And I am a big fan of Ms. Harris. Ms. Harris, so I don't want you to think this is any adverse feeling toward you from me. And here I guess I'm gonna let you see my face while I'm talking, so I'm gonna stop the screen share. The city code. Oh, and I have someone trying to get in now. Let me admit her. The city code and the charter, but especially, and I've been referring to the city code because that's what the office holders usually refer to more directly than the charter. Is very clear in saying that the elected members, and that would have been myself, Gregory Creswell, and Washington Houston, elected members were to submit a list of names collected by themselves and members of the community to the clerk by the 31st of January for community, for senior issues member and for youth member. And we did that. We also, another thing, and this is important, I want to put this out there, is that the people were to be, and then what happens with that? And it says the word shall appears here because I just got off, I talked to a chief of staff from Council Member Spivey's office, and he says this was merely optional, but the language begins with shall. And this is, you can look right in the city code. And I have a link to it on the d4cac.org website. The word shall applies here, that the city council shall choose from that list the senior member and the youth member. Now, as far as fairness, it's a matter of fairness also to the people that actually are on that list to ask, wait a minute, but I was on the list. Why wasn't it me? And I'm expecting that will come up. And so again, and like I said, Ms. Harris, I'm a big fan of yours. You're making a wonderful presentation, and but I just want to make sure it's not personal. I'm just saying this is what's in there. And so I am going to be proceeding with asking for some clarification on this matter from the legal department, because, and if the legal department says, no, it doesn't mean what Mr. Boman thought it meant, I'll leave that alone. But I feel like it's my obligation to do my due diligence and not just go along to get along just because I'm going to make people uncomfortable or because it may make people feel unhappy with me and what my decisions are. I feel like I have to do what my position is assigned to do. And I have to also follow the rules, because without the city code, without the charter, there is no community advisory council. There is no chairperson of a community advisory council. There are no advisory council members. None of that exists without the charter and with the city code. So that is why I feel I have to follow this. And so I will be pursuing that. Secondly, there is the matter of timing again. February 15th, both these people were to be seated. Why wasn't anyone chosen then? And I was told that the city council had no choice. Oh, there's a choice. All they had to do is appoint the people. They didn't do it. We still have not had the youth member appointed. That's a choice too. I am going to be making, and I was going to do a resolution. I might just make an independent complaint specifically about the youth member, because here's a case where no one has even been appointed, not a matter of whether the appointment was proper, but no one was appointed. And so there won't be a course of action by the C.A.C. this month over this because, well, we don't have a quorum. But I definitely see this as something that I can't just take sitting down. And for the person being appointed to it, it's like, unless we want to start the term today, and I don't think they would interpret it that way, because it says the term starts on February 15th. Our youth and senior representatives were denied, at least, because we're, going up to the present day, 6 months in their office. They did not get in there because it was not, the people were not appointed. So regardless of anything else I need to say about our council member or about any of the other people stepping up and wanting to get involved, that what bothers me the most is simply this matter was not even handled back in February where it should have been. And I've been quiet because I've been trying to be patient. And at some point I realized, and it kind of clicked in me, that my patience was really a denial of my obligations to the community and to the people that stepped up to be senior representatives and youth members, because my obligation isn't to the city council person. I am not a staff member of Council Member Spivey. I work for you. I work for anybody out here in District 4. Those are the people I work for. I don't work for the city council. And so that I really, that's really where my responsibility lies and who I need to be true to. So, sorry for, and effectively this without any votes or a quorum, this is really, I suppose, maybe just a rant. But I felt I had to put it out there because I needed to be transparent. And I'll take a few minutes if anyone wants to ask me any questions, if it didn't make sense, anything I was saying, I'll address that right now.
Okay, Scotty, this is Jocelyn
Yeah.
Harris. Let me be very, very clear. I didn't ask for the position. Councilman Spivey called and asked, was I interested? But believe me, I don't want to cause any confusion. There is so much work to be done all over the district. And I know that in just looking at my own neighborhood, although some think it's intact, I'm just trying to say, do what you need to do, because I don't have to have a title or be in a position. I really just want to continue to do the work on behalf of the people who live here, especially these young people who are being denied all kinds of recreation, library, schools, and all of that. So please don't worry about hurting my feelings. It's not going to bother me one bit if you do what you feel that you should that you're obligated to do. Do it. So don't be concerned about me, because I always get a lot to do. I see a lot.
And thank you.
I try to do what I can do.
Your
So I don't need a title. I really don't. I've had titles in my life. I'm not looking for a title, Scotty. So do whatever you feel like you're led to do. Okay. Councilman Spivey asked me, and I asked him not to put me in the middle of a lot of confusion, because at my age, I'm trying to avoid confusion.
I know that's right.
Okay, so yeah, you may have already seen some of the writing on the wall here. So I'm going to try not
I
to,
don't want to
like I said,
battle over a position. I want to battle for the people and the children
thank you.
especially.
I'm not going to put you in the middle. I'm going to try to not make, put you in the middle of it, but just make it a matter really
I stepped out.
between, I'm really going to go to the what is it? The legislative,
Analyst.
yeah, there's another word here. It's an office within the city.
Yeah, within
Awesome.
city council.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
I'm gonna legislative council. Yeah, I'm gonna go there, and that's Mr. Whitaker. And I'm gonna
Yeah. David,
get a
whatever.
ruling,
Mhm.
and then after that, whatever happens, happens, and we'll just all be straightforward and open about what happens when it does. But I needed to make everything clear ahead of time because otherwise it might look like I'm trying to, do something shifty, and I definitely want to make sure it's all out there so everyone knows exactly what I'm doing.
Well, Scotty, you didn't have no problem telling me.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't. I included, yeah, we had a similar discussion. And in fact, yeah, Sandra Turner Handy, if people were present, she was initially introduced as a senior member. And when I brought the issue up before, they're like, well, okay, then she's filling the vacancy. And there was a vacancy to be filled because we only had 3 people get elected to a position, to 5 positions. And so, the council member had 2 positions to fill, no matter how we looked at it. Yeah, so that was resolved that way. I guess I'll move on to the next agenda item. I just need to get that out and done and said. So I did that. And I know we're getting near the end here, which I'm probably to the relief of some and many. I don't know. Here we go.
Mhm.
Okay. So after that, I had, let's see here. That takes us to new business. And notice there's nothing under that. Does anyone have anything to bring up as a general discussion topic, not just as a public comment, but as a general discussion topic?
Hi, Scotty. My name is San Williams.
Hi.
Something I've been kind of boggling my mind. When you come up on the service drives, the grass, the overgrowth, and the trash that's there, particularly I'll say the one westbound coming up at Cadieux, is just horrible. And I just learned, I assumed it was the city, but I'm understanding now that the state is responsible for that.
Mhm.
Oh, so
And if that's the case, it's like we pay taxes as well. And when you go into the suburbs, you do not see their service drives looking like that.
So you're saying this is when if you're taking the Cadieux exit from the westbound freeway, is that where you're speaking of?
Yes, westbound 94, and I usually stay on and take it over to Whittier. And it's deplorable.
It looks the same at Chalmers also. So it looks the same at Chalmers, coming up at the Chalmers exit. But this has been a long-standing problem, and so they can't really blame it on COVID because it was looking like that before COVID.
Absolutely. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, well, pretty soon I guess people might stop blaming everything on COVID. It seems like there's been a lot of that. It was like,
but it just bothers me every time I come up on either one of those exits. And if I can go 2 miles down, if I come up at 8 Mile or I come up at Allard, it's not like that.
Well, they normally use state incarcerated people that need to do community service.
Yeah, I know they use them to pick up the trash, but before they can get to the trash, that grass, that stuff has got to be cut down.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So
yeah.
I need to find out if those lawnmowers that are going along the side of the road are
yes. So I don't know how, so now that I've learned that it's the state, so I'm reaching out, to our state representatives, to get a response. But I mean, could there be something where if it doesn't get cut in X amount of time, the city can cut it and bill them? I don't know. You know, it just looks so bad. And the higher that grass get, the more the trash gets caught up in it. So
Yeah.
when it blows, it just settles into all of that overgrowth.
Because
That's
we've
right.
been going to cut our own, and it's a shame that we have to do that.
That is a shame. And
Yeah,
you
but
paying
it
taxes.
just, but it
Yeah.
looks so bad that you just like, you gotta do something. They're the
Yeah.
entryway into our communities. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And if it's the state responsibility, it seems especially then offensive, because then it's not a matter of us not taking care of ourselves. If we take exits to other communities and it isn't like that, that to me
What's the
shows
difference?
really discrimination by the state of Michigan against
Right.
Detroit.
Right.
Right.
But you know, another issue, and I'm just gonna speak as a resident, this Jocelyn. See, I think some of the work is to know who is responsible for what.
Mhm.
Because what you're saying, I know I talked to Councilman Spivey, I mentioned that at some point, how does that get cleaned up? And I said, well, maybe we as residents just need to go clean it. He said, no, that would be dangerous. And nobody wants to be liable for residents going on to those little areas, picking up all that trash. So the reality is that we need to, I think that one of the responsibilities that we have as residents is to find out, as organized groups, is to find out who is responsible for what. And,
MDOT.
and like you said, talk then to the state representatives, but it needs to be a group, not an individual. That's why.
MDOT is responsible for the highways, for
Mhm.
maintaining the highways. It's MDOT.
Then they need
What
to
to get
clean
on
it
the
up for Detroit
Boy,
like
the
they do for
entranceway,
everyone else.
they're responsible for that. MDOT, I can understand that.
Yeah, they're responsible
Okay.
for any other state highway property.
So now they need to get notified.
Yeah.
Something needs to be in writing.
Yeah, it seems like everyone, if there's a way out, people take it.
Scotty,
Yes, yes, Zelda.
I brought that situation that the lady just talked about.
Mhm.
You know, I-90 Harper, the service driver Harper 94.
Mhm.
I brought that situation up to Eric because the block club went up there to clean up,
Mhm.
but the grass was too high.
Mm-hmm.
So we weren't able to clean it up. So I brought it up to Eric, which is the president of Morningside, to see, you know, if he could get somebody to go up there and cut that grass. But I'm gonna follow up with him because nothing has happened yet.
Okay. Yeah, there's definitely a need for some action.
It
and
doesn't make any
be on
sense.
us.
Yeah.
If
And
we're-
and like I said, I know it's at Chalmers. Zelda knows at Harper exit. And Sandra knows that it's at the Cashew exit. So I mean,
Right.
it's all along throughout the district on 94.
Exactly.
Yes, it is.
It's everywhere over here.
Right.
Okay, I'll consider that the new business. Now I kind of pushed reports, and I didn't realize how out of order my agenda was. I guess it was a good thing it wasn't a binding meeting here, because no, I know it's in the right place. I'm sorry, I was seeing things improperly. No, on reports, I thought normally that would be earlier, but normally it'd be like, we don't have a treasurer's report because we don't have any standing committees right now. They're meetings. So there's not non-reports, but it's just kind of listed there. So the next thing under that, and maybe maybe I put that as reports, but maybe it meant announcements. Are there announcements of upcoming events that we haven't already announced? Okay.
This Saturday, there will be a Juneteenth celebration over
Oh,
at the
yeah.
Maharis Recreation Center at the foot of Connors. If y'all are familiar with the Maharis Park, there's going to be a Juneteenth celebration. I'm sure there are Juneteenth celebrations other places in the city, but that's the one that is going to happen over here. And I know it's going to be great. The ones who are sponsoring it this year have been doing it in Highland Park and other places, and they're really good at organizing and getting lots of groups and lots of vendors. So it should be an excellent Juneteenth celebration going on down at the river at Maharis Gentry Park this Saturday.
Harris Gentry Park, it's called?
Yep.
Is that the one that's right at the waterfront?
Yes, at the foot at the waterfront. It's the recreation center that's closed, but there's a beautiful park,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
that's where they're gonna hold it this year.
What time?
They're gonna get started. I haven't seen the flyer. Somebody says a fax a flyer, but they normally get started because they've done it other years around 12 noon, and they'll go on to about 7 or 8. So at the high point of the day, they're normally in operation. Mhm.
Okay. Put around noon.
Around
Okay.
noon.
Or as some say noon.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much for that. And yeah, obviously, Juneteenth is definitely a very important day to remember here and to celebrate.
We have another announcement, Scotty, is we have a challenge with District 3, a bike challenge.
Okay.
And it's been on my calendar, and I just haven't been able to connect with people because I was on vacation, came back, and of course, work is always double when you come back. To really dig into the bike challenge, but District 3 already got their routes mapped out where they're gonna ride at, you know, and I just haven't been able to connect with anybody over in District 4 because I'm not a bike rider. They took my bike about 20 years ago. They stole my bike and I never replaced it. So, but they are doing a bike challenge.
Cyclists in District 4 are organizing somewhere.
Say that again.
The cyclists in District 4 are the ones that are in the challenge with the cyclists from District 3.
I did get one call from somebody in our district that said he was told to call me about the bike challenge, but I haven't been able to do anything on it. I'm just putting it out there that we're supposed to have this, but I haven't been able to work on it.
Yeah, I'm that person that called you.
Oh, Danny, I'm sorry I didn't get back to you because
I didn't know you didn't have no bike. I got a bike for you.
Okay, I'm still trying to play catch up.
Yeah, so
yeah,
I stop you. I can get you a bike.
Well, Danny, then that means I have an ally in trying to get us some cyclists over here in District 4 and map out some places for us to ride.
Absolutely.
Okay.
When you have information, send it to me and I can make a post about it.
Okay. We will do that. Danny, I need you to call me again.
Okay.
Okay.
Also, I thought I had someone here who was going to make some kind of directory, and we had a lot of back and forth. I think a lot of confusion between the two of us. But is that person here? There's someone email me, and I'm sorry, I'm getting really. I keep forgetting names, and it's like as soon as I look at my email, I'll remember. But if the person's not here, I guess it's not really pertinent to bring up a name. Okay, so moving right on down here. We're really getting close to the end of this. Oh, I didn't realize I'm still sharing the agenda and no one can see each other. You see, I can see everyone.
No, we can see each other. Scotty, we can see each other when you're sharing. It only takes a part of the screen. We just have a presentation view. Yeah, we can still see you when you're sharing. Everybody can see everybody.
Okay. And really, there isn't much more to share. So, I mean, as far as the screen goes, I'm not gonna screen share anymore because all that remains here is we got now. Then unless someone has an additional announcement that they can make that announcement, and then we're going to schedule the next meeting and public comments and adjournment. Were there any other announcements? Okay. July 12th, 7 p.m. That's how we plan our regular meetings. That's when it will be. And the when is a simple part. Currently, I am waiting to hear back from somebody to see if there is a possibility of using the Samaritan Center. So that might be one venue we will use. The other, but I'm open to other possibilities, especially since I don't know that that's a sure thing at all. There's no confirmation whatsoever. I'm just inquiring. So I'm open to, and if we don't use a venue in July, we might use it in August or September and so on, because we're supposed to have our meetings move around the district. When we're supposed to be having face-to-face meetings, they're not supposed to be in just one place. So, of course, we've had the pandemic, and that's why we've been doing the Zoom thing as everyone else in city government is. But the various orders, statutes, whatever, that the patchwork that went together to create certain variations on the Open Meetings Act, allowing for these remote meetings, that the sunset on that actually was already at the end of May statewide. However, cities had the option of extending a little further if they wanted to declare that it was necessary, and Detroit did. But I believe that sets at the end of this month, end of June. So it's pretty much, it's got to be a face-to-face meeting. And if you look at the statistics right now, the rate of new infections is really down. So I don't even think there'll be that much to worry about. But of course, I don't want to be wrong. I do want to be. I want to be right that we don't have much to worry about. But if it, obviously something could happen that changes everything, but I don't see that happening. So right now, we expect a face-to-face meeting.
Can we also look at maybe, since it is nice out, that it's outside somewhere?
Absolutely. I'm not rule that out. The only thing I would want to make sure then is, like, in our places that do have shelters, that it be a place that is a shelter.
Okay.
Some kind of covering over, gazebos and so forth, that kind of thing. But other than that, yeah, there's no reason we couldn't do it outside. So that I'm gonna I'll wait for input, and what I will say is, since I can't announce the location right now because I don't have it, it will be announced on, I'll put this in the chat. D4CAC.org. Check that. That's where I post the most current announcements. Yes, it does redirect to bowmanfordetroit.com, which just that happens to be the website I already owned. And so I kept using it when I stopped using it for campaign purposes. And even now, I'm not using it for campaign purposes, though I'm a candidate, but but I'm not using that website for it anymore. So I think the name D4CAC.org is more fitting, of course. D as in district, 4 as in the number, CAC as in Community Advisory Council.org. It's an organization. Of course, what I think would be even better, and you know what, I forgot to bring this up, would be if we had, if we were on the Michigan, DetroitMI.gov website. And included there as like everyone else is. And why are we somehow different? Pardon? Yeah, we should have city email. Exactly. And there's a lot of other people who aren't even, members of elected bodies who have, this kind of coverage. Their meetings are posted. Ours aren't. That continues to frustrate me, and I'll continue to be pursuing that issue. But we'll see. Anyone who has a chance, whenever you're speaking to anyone in city government about it, maybe that could be one of the things you bring up. I mean, there's a lot of other things that are probably more significant to your life, but wouldn't hurt. So that's about scheduling the meeting, and that really just leaves us with community comments, public comments. And as soon as the public comments are done, then it's an adjournment.
I have a question, Scotty.
Go for it.
What did you find out about Connor Avenue between
Pardon?
Warren and the park, Connor Park Drive?
I'll
Remember
get
we
it.
talked about it last time, how they were taking out that sidewalk.
Oh yeah, whether there was construction going on, that kind of thing, right? I do recall that, right? And I think it was maybe in the minutes. You know what I think is going on is Liggins was supposed to get back with us about that. Okay, I'm gonna make a note. I gotta check again on this. So it's still dug up over there, I'm gathering.
That's dug up and it's marked out with some sticks that they're gonna look like they're gonna push the sidewalk back. And I don't know if it's before the bus stops or not, so that the traffic with the bike lanes and the bus stop would be a little better. That's what I'm guessing, but I don't know.
You
I
know,
think
they were having the bus drivers were complaining of the bike lanes that it was unsafe for them to let people out due to the bike lanes. So
I'm sorry, go ahead.
it may be something in tandem with trying to give some more space for those buses to like pull over and not hamper the bike lane, but safely let off passengers.
And again,
That's
it's
that's
kind of
just one
between
thought.
Warren and Harper, or no, Chandler Park Drive.
Yeah.
Yeah, between Warren and Chandler Park Drive.
Okay, I'm going to speculate something, and of course, this is only speculation because I know along my street, there's all kinds of things going on, and it's related to infrastructure, specifically gas lines and electrical lines and water pipes, being replaced and resurfaced and things of that nature. Actually, I don't know that gas lines are replaced. I know there's been a lot of meters replaced, but definitely there's been cables being laid. There's new pipes being put down, new mains. They might be doing something like that there. And the way they do it to it, it takes forever. It's been months that my sidewalks have been dug up. And I shouldn't say our sidewalks, all up and down the street have been dug up. And one utility will come in and service one thing. Like we had gas come through a couple weeks ago. Today, DTE was filled up the street with DTE trucks doing work. So it might be something like that where they just kind of leave it dug up for this extended amount of time as one crew comes in and leaves, and then another one comes in and does something else, and so on. It could be that. I'm just throwing it out. I don't know. Obviously, you want someone who knows, and we were supposed to hear back from Rodney Liggins. I don't recall any reply on that, but may give him another email. Okay. All right, more comments? Community comments? It's open floor.
Scotty,
Yes?
am I unmuted?
Yes, you are.
Okay.
Zelda.
I just sent Eric an email about that grass.
Oh, great.
The grass, the service drive grass.
Oh, good.
So I don't know, I'll follow up with you. So, I just sent it to him.
Terrific. We also, well, go ahead. I'm sorry. Was there more? Or did you want to announce that?
Huh?
Were you going to say anything in addition to that? I didn't want to say anything else till you were done.
I didn't hear you. I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry, Zelda. I was asking, in addition to letting us know that you're talking, oh, by the way, for the benefit of those listening, Eric DeWicki is president of the Morningside Neighborhood Association. In addition to sending him a question about the grass, was there anything else you wanted to bring up?
No, I just, because I did it while we were on, on this meeting. I just wanted to say it. And
Okay.
I'll follow up with you, and let you know.
Okay, terrific. Now, we do
Happens
have,
next.
thank you so much. We do have someone arriving at the meeting right here, getting right in at the tail end here, by phone. Would that person, are you interested in saying anything? Speaking up, introducing yourself, anything? We're on community comments now. It's the end of the meeting. Oh, and also I should say, if you're on a phone, try *6 if you're trying to unmute.
Hi. Yeah, no, I've been on the Zoom. I just couldn't get my audio work, and this is Donna, so I needed to call in.
Oh,
Right. So all I wanted to do was make reference just to an announcement that I put in the chat that ECN is providing trainer on this upcoming voters redistricting, and they're doing training on community mapping. If anyone is interested, they can contact Angela Brown.
okay. I'm gonna copy.
And my little hand thing didn't work either, so I just had to use the phone.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, and I otherwise I would not have seen that. Oh, and I see.
Yeah, but that's me, Scotty. Yeah, I was here. I just couldn't talk. I don't know what's going on with my audio on my Zoom thing.
Okay. Now, Donna, I also want to ask you, because this came up, there was apparently, and I heard about it actually while sitting in on the, what do you call it? The Police Community Relations Council meeting for 5th Precinct. And when I was sitting in on that meeting, the thing that came up was, I'm just trying to do something here. I'm sorry. What came up was that you had some kind of candidate forums, but I couldn't seem to find any information about how to watch them live, or I didn't get a reply to any of my inquiries about that before they happened. And it was like for city council candidates.
Well, yeah, that was Donna Gibbons, and she is with ECN, and they did have a candidate forum and such. They recorded it, so you probably can go on their Facebook page,
Yeah,
or on YouTube and visit that.
how does one get advance notification about their events unless you just happen to be sitting in a meeting? Great.
The Leap alerts, you sign up for their Leap alerts.
Well,
LEAP.
Leap alert.
I get all of their information,
Yeah.
Scotty. I can forward.
Excellent, Sandra. Yay!
Yeah.
And I know Jocelyn gets them.
Yeah, I can forward
Yeah,
it
I
back
just
out
do.
to you because
Yeah.
I get all of it.
That would be good because I occasionally get things from them, but it's like sporadic, and it's, other things I don't, and that's why I definitely didn't hear about those forums. May I just ask out of curiosity, in addition to mayor and city council, is there any other candidate, any other offices that ECN is having candidate forums for?
So far, those have been the only two.
Okay, I'm just asking about.
But there could be more.
Okay, I'll definitely try to follow up. So you're Linda. You're Donna M.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, you see.
And Donna Gibbons Harrison is the president of LEAP.
No, ECN.
ECN.
Right.
Thank you, Sandra. Which is under LEAP.
Okay. Yeah, so that's where I had gotten kind of mixed up on things. Oh yeah, I see here now. I should need to pay more attention to these chats. Hi, Scott. I put my comment in the chat. Could you? All right.
Because I was having I didn't know if I would be able to call in on time, right?
Yeah. And but yeah, we got that all straightened out, so hopefully they'll be okay.
Well, Scotty, what I'm going to suggest, and we can bring this up in the next meeting, because you're trying to run the meeting, read the agenda, and do it all. let's have someone assigned to looking at the chat and bringing that back to you so you don't have to be trying to do everything by yourself.
Hey, can you see the chat okay?
Yeah, everybody can go in and see the chat.
Would you like to volunteer for that?
I mean, I'll keep an eye out on questions in the chat that people send in, because it's hard to try to host the
great.
meeting and do
Yeah.
everything else.
You could be like, Mr. Chair, there's something in the chat.
Right.
Okay,
Okay.
great. Other comments? Well, I think I'll say then we're adjourned.